Tuesday is said to derive from Chu, the Norse war god of justice. So it's only appropriate on this particular Tuesday that we see a verdict in the NXT Championship case and a settlement inside Solid Steel. Oh, and Wade Barrett's on commentary, and he used to bang a gavel, didn't he? So that checks out as well. This is NXT Super Tuesday 2 Graded. We will determine the new NXT champion right now. Opening match of the night, Adam Cole and Finn Bálor, one-on-one, one fall to a finish. Winner becomes the champ. Close quarter grappling to start off with. This ascends into some heavy strikes and chops. We see Adam Cole take advantage of the match with the Hushi-Guroshi, and from there we see Finn Bálor fight back with a shotgun low drop kick. It fights to the outside of the ring, where we see Bálor go for another shotgun drop kick, but ends up eating a super kick in the process, and this is how the match goes. Just feels like every time the one guy is getting a bit of an advantage, here comes the other. Every time Bálor ends up going for a 1916, here's Adam Cole with a counter. Adam Cole goes for a super kick, here's Finn Bálor with a counter. We go back and forth and back and forth. Bálor misses a coup de grace and lands badly on his foot. That's blood in the water for Adam Cole, puts the figure 4 leg lock on. Bálor able to escape. Cole goes for a super kick, and it gets reversed into a sling blade. A coup de grace attempt once again. Bálor lands it, but because he's got a bad wheel, doesn't make the cover quick enough. Only gets a 2 on Adam Cole. Bálor fights off the Panama Sunrise and lands a 1916. Goes up top thinking coup de grace one more time. Adam Cole follows him up there. They're fighting on top, and there from the top rope we see Finn Bálor land an Avalanche 1916 for the 1, 2, 3. Finn Bálor, your new NXT champion. We see a handshake between the two before Bálor stands tall on the ramp with the belt. To start the show. Great match between these guys. Solid work between Finn Bálor and Adam Cole here. And what I loved about this match was how it built, how neither man truly gained an advantage all the way through. They kept you guessing throughout. I'd like to have seen this go a little bit longer. I know that's greedy of me and quite entitled of me, but I think they could have done a little bit more, maybe heighten the stakes just a touch more near the end. I think that would have been pretty cool, but you know what? It's still an excellent way to crown a new NXT champion. Robert Stone is backstage. He finds Shotsy Blackheart's tank. Looks like he's going to trash it, but here's Shotsy Blackheart to punch his lights out. Aaliyah turns up to attack Shotsy from behind, ends up pushing her through a curtain and disrupting an Io Shirai photo shoot. Oh dear. We then have Aaliyah being chased into the ring by Io Shirai and Shotsy Blackheart. And once she gets into the ring, she's cornered and then routinely battered by Io Shirai and Shotsy Blackheart. Robert Stone attempts to make a save coming off the top rope. Shotsy pushes Io out of the way of Robert Stone, saving the day there. And then we get stereo moonsault and cannonball senton onto the Robert Stone brand, sending them packing. Shotsy hands Io Shirai her belt, or at least goes to. And as Io goes to grab it, Shotsy holds it above her head. We then see Io grab the belt off her and say, "Don't make me hurt you." And she storms off. We find out later on that next week on NXT, we're getting a non-title match between Shotsy Blackheart and Io Shirai, which I'm very intrigued by. Shotsy's build to the top here. I feel like Shotsy's build, I'm comparing it to that of Teagan Knox, because they were sort of on a similar, they were on a very similar page a while ago, and I feel like Shotsy is in a stronger position right now than Teagan was before she started tussling with the champion. Giving this segment a B+, really enjoyed the work of all the players in this particular scene. Speaking of Teagan Knox, she's at the Gargano household tonight. Everybody is awkwardly polite, uncomfortably nice to Teagan Knox as she sits down for dinner with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Candice and Teagan are going to sort through some of their problems over a lovely pasta dish. We will return to this this later. Timothy Thatcher leads a film studies class at Thatcher's Thatcher Academy. They are analysing Damian Priest, saying he spends too much time off his feet, where he's not in control. And he says that he thinks that, you know, life as a champion is a party. Thatcher's out to prove that's not the case. We will find out later on that next week on NXT, Timothy Thatcher is challenging Damian Priest for the NXT North American Championship. I like the juxtaposition of these two. Party animal and resident monster Damian Priest taking on super serious ground and pounder Timothy Thatcher. This should be an interesting affair. We have a new name for Tahuti Miles. He is Ashante The Adonis. And he gets a run out this week in a match against Velveteen Dream. Adonis looks great in there. Some brilliant strike action. He lands a beauty of a dropkick and a DDT in a very short affair. We see him almost super kick the referee before he eats a Dream Valley driver for the 1, 2, 3. After this, Kushida runs out to attack Dream. Kushida super intense here, trying to break the arm using the turnbuckle and an armbar through the ropes as the referees try and pull him away. They reference the new attitude of Kushida in this bit. I'm going to actually give this whole bit a C+. The match was really nothing to write home about. It was just good to see a showcase of Adonis and a new look and a new feel. And Kushida's badass intensity. I'm a big fan. We get a video package hyping the NXT Tag Team Championship match for next week. Breezango are going to be defending against former champions in Imperium. A funny bit with Breezango where Fandango is admiring the belt and ends up accidentally throwing it on his shoulder and over to the ground. I'm pretty sure I did something similar with the Cultaholic Championship, so it's forgivable. I'm enjoying Breezango as this veteran team, as the tag team champions. I feel like whoever wins them off, whoever they lose those belts to, are going to be made for it. I don't know if it'll be Imperium per se, but I feel like whoever they lose them to will be made. We then return to the Gargano household. Johnny Gargano leaves the table, realizing that he's a bit of a fifth wheel in this conversation, so he takes his dinner and goes elsewhere. Candice and Teagan Knox chatting through their stuff, and Candice is trying to get Teagan Knox to think the Gargano way and join the Gargano way. Knox isn't too convinced. We'll come back later. The colossal Bronson Reed takes on Austin Theory next. And I tell you what, Theory is a bump machine in this match. Bronson Reed is a beast. Nothing seems to be taking him off his feet for the longest of times. He is dominant over Austin Theory. In fact, before the break, there's a moment where we see Bronson Reed land a shoulder tackle off the apron to the floor that sees Austin Theory bump to the extent that I thought we'd now bleed into a shooting star meme. It was incredible. It was like Rock selling a stunner from the past. It was excellent. During the break, Theory takes control with a drop toe hold into the turnbuckle, but Bronson Reed won't be denied. He is a big, strong, thick lad who is kicking back in this one. Theory attempts a back suplex and nearly shatters his spine into 1,000 pieces in the process. He then picks him up for a fireman's carry and he just can't hold the weight. He collapses underneath. Bronson Reed hits a senton and a tsunami splash off the top for the 1, 2, 3. Big win once again for Big Bronson. Giving it a B for me. I thought Bronson Reed has been really growing as the resident monster within NXT, and Austin Theory was just selling like it was going out of fashion here, just bumping around the ring for Bronson Reed. Really enjoyed this. We hear from Adam Cole, very straight chat with Adam. He respects Finn Balor and he says he better hope that they don't have another match for the NXT Championship because, it'll be different next time. And then Adam Cole walks off. Cole is conspicuous by his absence as two members of the Undisputed Era head out to the ring next. It is Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong heading down to ringside. Roddy in singles action against Killian Dain. Dain dominant, at least to start with. He chases Strong around the ring. Bobby Fish playing distraction allows Strong to gain the upper hand. But Killian Dain isn't staying down for too long, keeps pushing back against Roderick Strong. But in the end of this, just as it looks like Killian Dain is going to land a Vader bomb, Bobby Fish runs distraction again, pulling Roderick Strong out of the ring. This leads to Killian Dain focusing onto Bobby Fish and Roddy hitting a big knee and hitting the 1, 2, 3. So Roddy picks up a win over Killian Dain. They're putting the boots to Dain after this. Drake Maverick runs out to make the save with a bat. He ends up getting floored as well. Killian Dain ends up picking up the bat. Actually, I tell a lie, it was a lead pipe. I guess you could use it as a bat though, so that's fine. Dain picks up the lead pipe, and this scares off the Undisputed Era. Drake once again goes for a handshake and ends up getting clotheslined to death by Killian Dain. They're not going to be friends anytime soon. I'm giving this a C+, a pacey affair from these guys, but a bit of a rinse repeat from what we saw last week, really. Conspicuous by his absence is Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly not there this week. He tends to dip in and out these days, doesn't he? But there is certainly a divide forming between Adam Cole and the other members of the Undisputed Era. I don't know whether you've noticed this as well. I feel like we might see Adam Cole peel away from the UE in weeks to come. We visit the Gargano household one more time tonight as Candice LeRae toasts to becoming the next NXT Women's Champion. Teagan put out by this. Teagan's like, well, why can't I be the next Women's Champion? And Candice laughs at her attempts to beat Io Shirai. Teagan reminds her that she's not beating Io Shirai either. And this offends Candice, who throws the dinner into Teagan Knox, and Teagan returns the favour. A food fight ensues, and Johnny Gargano turns up to get in the middle. He ends up getting spaghetti on his face. Johnny Gargano doing his best spaghetti impression as Teagan Knox avoids a volley of some implement from Candice LeRae that smashes the family television, and Teagan legs it out of the house to end her night with the Garganos. Some interesting bits with these guys. I like the whole trying to settle things over dinner. I feel like Teagan Knox corpsed a bit in this. Did you notice that at the end? I don't know whether I was overanalyzing that. I felt like Teagan Knox was corpsing as this food fight was kicking off. That was fine though. We're leading to something, a match between Candice and Teagan Knox. Maybe some sort of gimmicky shenanigans, so it is what it is. Main event o'clock, it is the Battle of the Badasses, because everything needs a tagline in 2020. Mercedes Martinez versus Rhea Ripley inside a steel cage. As Mercedes makes her way to the ring, Ripley jumps her, ends up throwing Mercedes and a table into the steel cage. As she gets into the ring, she gets jumped by Mercedes Martinez, and thus a scrappy affair between these two, I guess they are badasses, between these two badasses breaks out. Martinez is able to avoid a riptide and turns it into a fisherman buster for a near fall. We see a running power slam onto a steel chair from Martinez as well. When we come back from break, Martinez lands a spider German superplex onto Rhea Ripley. Ripley responds with a Greco-Roman throw of the chair and a superplex. It's just heavy-hitting action in this match. Robert Stone ascends the cage near the end of this one, and we see Ripley go up there to meet him. She's going to try and suplex him into the cage, but Martinez stops her, armed with a kendo stick, brings her crashing down to the mats. Martinez hooks up Rhea Ripley for a superplex through the table, but Ripley's able to fight out of it, ends up hitting an avalanche riptide through the table for the 1, 2, 3. Ripley stands tall over Mercedes Martinez to close out the night, giving our main event here an A. This was stunning work between these guys. Just a great alternative to our opening match. And I like the way this show was bookended. Like, we started with Bálor and Cole, which was a technical wrestling masterclass, and then we get this, which is just like plunder and action and heavy hitting and hard shots. I feel like there was a lot in there, and you could have maybe had a couple of things breathe a bit more, a couple of big moments breathe a touch more. But even so, these guys working together, just high class. I'm hoping this leads Ripley into something else now. I feel like Rhea Ripley lost her way a little bit over the summer, and I'm ready for Rhea Ripley to get back on track, find her way towards a women's championship on a brand. You know me, unwavering positivity. I'm giving NXT an A- this week. There was a great bookending of the show with the NXT championship being decided and a steel cage match between two people that needed a steel cage match, as opposed to a feud that passes through a month where there are steel cage matches. That's kind of how WWE do things in this day and age. Some good stuff bubbling through there as well from the likes of Shotsy Blackheart, who's getting a match next week against Io Shirai. Timothy Thatcher and Damian Priest should have fun next week. Tag match for the tag titles between Breezango and Imperium should be good fun as well. We'll see how that one rolls out as well. And Bronson Reed's continued rise is always nice to see as well. Lots of good things happening and continuing to happening on NXT. And I really love the pacing of this show, and I love some of the results coming out of this show. Onwards we go. Wednesdays back to normal next week. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.